You finished being the president of Jordan Belford's some of his companies. You went into Nirvana and came back.
And then out of nowhere, he starts working with Jake.
Yeah. After my Nirvana, I'm like, this is it.
I didn't know about slavery.
And welcome back, everybody, to another awesome episode of The Careful Boys, where we are pleased to have Arvid here joining us.
Welcome, Arvid. Thank you, Arvid. And in his deep hatred for Warren Buffett. That's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
And his acceptance of slavery, right?
Yes.
Hey, out of context.
Yeah, that's not fair.
Oh, yeah.
Bring it back. No.
So, yeah, you guys want to just get to know you a little bit better. So, just off top, like, would you rather, like, your mom or your dad?
Oh my gosh. Jeez.
Let's go, baby.
That's a strong note.
Honest question.
Yeah, it's a...
The fans want to know.
That's what keeps you up
The
at
fans
night.
want to know. They've been asking, and who are we to not, be slaves to their requests, if you will. Yeah.
No, that's a strong
no?
no.
That's a no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything, what's next?
Yeah, Nick, what's your next question?
I think at that point you go murder-suicide. At that point you just go, I'm out. If you have that threat.
Murder, suicide? Who are you murdering?
I don't know. You attempt.
Murder, suicide.
Yeah. You attempt to murder-suicide in that situation. But you're asking for me for a question for Arvid.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't make it awkward.
How long were you working with Jordan Belfort for?
Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, the Wolf of Wall Street.
It's like most of 2020. It's about a year.
And why did you stop?
It's like a few different reasons. The main, real reason is because, I don't like doing anything for more than, a few months or a year, max, no matter, what the situation is.
How long have you been with your wife?
Except,
Okay.
Come on, man.
Double checking.
Yes.
How long you been with your kids?
When do you get
That's a long commitment.
Yeah, that's the only exception.
That's a long commitment.
But yeah, in terms of staying in place, I'd prefer to change, where I'm living every single day if I could. In terms of the work I do, the people that I work with, I'd prefer to work with different people. That's kind of what I've designed for myself now. So after Jordan, I was like, okay, this is really great, really smart guy, really enjoyed it, but I want to just keep working with different people as often as I possibly can. I'm kind of like a work whore.
Yeah.
Like a real slut when it comes to working.
Yeah.
But not in my personal life, not in my marriage. That's where I'm,
How
very
do
faithful.
you...
My prostitution goes into
you get it out of your system.
You would
get
think
whored out.
someone that likes a lot of variation would like it all across the board. How is it that in work you like variation, and even travel or the way you live you like variation, but you like so much of the consistent thing on the other side?
Yeah, since my wife is watching, I love the consistency.
You also love her eggs.
No, I think I don't know what it is. I think it's because I grew up watching a bunch of Indian Bollywood movies, and so my whole point of existing since I was really young, I was I need to find this one true love. Yeah.
And do you guys go at the park and do this with the tree?
Yeah. Sing, as you do it, and that was always my main thought is I need to find that, that one true love thing. So it was great. It was a great indoctrination, actually. I think if you want to make sure you have really faithful, if you want your kids to grow up to be good.
That's true, because there's no movie.
Watch those old Bollywood movies where there's only one true love. There's no dating. There's nothing.
That's what they should come out with, is movies of one true company. It's one true job,
That's Japanese.
Yeah, that's true.
That's Japanese movies.
I work for Sears.
I'm ready to retire.
We turn all Japanese in that movie?
So what does the president of Jordan Belfort's companies do?
Yeah.
Most of it was me and him pretty much working on he has a bunch of different companies, so it was just me and him working on everything together. So it was some of it was on what I said before, we fly around the country and meet with other companies. Other things, he does things related to his online business and stuff like that. But it was pretty much anything and everything from morning till like 2 a.m. where we talk about everything and work on everything together. So it's more like we were just like business partners, if I had to really describe it, and just going through every little thing that you would go through, you know, if you had a business partner, kind of. But yeah, it's good times. Good times.
What did he do online? Like you said, there's an online.
He has online training. Yeah, he has post content, has a bunch of like, you know, courses, all that stuff that he does.
I see.
But yeah.
So does he create like podcasts and stuff, or you mean?
He does have a podcast too. He does a lot of things. Like he's in his 60s, but the guy is like ripped, and he's like really like at it. Like he'll keep making more and more businesses. Whatever makes sense to him, he'll do it. But yeah,
So it was like he just needed a partner to bounce ideas back and forth with, and it's like the project of the day, and whatever needs to be done of that day, you guys kind of work on projects together.
And then we had like 100 people working for us, so then like whatever we talk about, then I'd have to be the dictator and, you know, get it to happen. But because he didn't like being in the weeds, especially with like certain things. Like he didn't want to have to deal with every little problem. So yeah, it was fun.
Did he know that you only wanted to be there for like a year?
I told him that. Yeah, I was like, hey, the max I'll ever work with anybody, you know, is a year. Realistically, if it was up to me, it'd be a few months. But like, you know, he gave me equity in his companies. He really wanted me to like stay there for a long time. But you know, whore is a whore. You know, I can't.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm for the streets when it comes to working.
No one's ever been able to talk you out of that, where they're like, "Hey, I'll pay you double if you stay another."
No, man. I'm like that stripper that just stays as the stripper.
What do you think it'll
like? I can't not be that.
What if he gives you enough novelty and variety where you don't feel like you're working in the same company with the same person?
I thought that, you know, I thought that was that is actually probably the reason that we were able to stick together for the whole year, is because we worked on so many different companies, and I really liked him a lot. Like I still think he's one of my favorite people. But yeah, I can't change who I am, you know.
Wow. Yeah. Do you take breaks in between where you're like, after a year, I'm gonna just do something that's not business related, and then you reset, and then you go back to the working game?
Yeah. So after that, I this is kind of a funny story, but like, he kept messaging me after about the different stuff that he's working on, trying to get me to trying to find something that I was interested in.
To bring you back in?
Yeah, at least a little bit, right? And I kept being like, oh no, you know, I'm fine. And then I got really into meditating, and then I started like meditating like most of the day because I wanted to see how far can you take this, basically. Wow. And then
so you be in lotus position for like 10 hours?
I was more in a recliner, you know,
with VR goggles, meditating.
Yeah, watching VR porn. Yeah.
Babe, I told you I was consistent.
Arvid is in Nirvana right now. Do not disturb him.
This is tantric meditation.
Yeah. And then I remember like the last message that I sent him was like, I was like, hey, you know, I think the main thing you've been missing in your whole life is real enlightenment. Like you should start meditating. Like that's what he said. Yeah.
It's like, how did Buddha get my number?
That was like my last message to him. And then
he was like, oh fuck, I lost this guy.
Yeah.
That's it.
He's on the deep end, dude.
Fuck. Yeah.
What were you thinking about when you're meditating for, and how long would you do it?
Oh, it kind of transformed. Yeah, so first you're like thinking for like 30 minutes, no matter who you are, is mostly random thoughts. But then you get into knowing how to switch it to visual thoughts. So you're like seeing more images and stuff. And then you can like let it kind of play on its own. So it's almost like it's like you're very awake, but like you're seeing colors, and it's like you're slightly dreaming-ish, but then eventually it gets a bit too trippy. The reason I stopped is because like it got pretty scary at a certain point where like I forgot my name, and like things would get way too far. Like you can't, like when you're going to sleep, I'm just like, oh shit, I'm gonna die. Like I don't remember anything. Like as you're falling asleep, you're starting to like get into the meditative state. But it's like, it's kind of like if you take like a psychedelic that's too strong, like you're kind of gone, you know.
Yeah.
But if you're conscious when that happens, though, it's pretty scary because like, oh shit, am I gonna ever like come back? You know, from this, like it's not like the drug will wear off, right? Yeah. But then if you're doing it consciously, you're like, oh man,
it's like Inception.
You reach the forbidden level.
Yeah.
Damn.
So that's when I was like, okay, I've had a fun journey here. with the
How long was the longest you meditated for like that?
I did it for like I got up to like a couple hours in the morning, a couple hours at night. But it's chill. It's not like a physical discipline. At a certain point, it's actually more. This is kind of the tricky part. It does kind of feel like you're addicted to it a little bit, where it feels better to be meditating than it does like dealing with real life.
That's
because you
Inception.
can control your own. Because you get to control your own emotions.
Ready Player One.
You get to like feel whatever emotions you want to feel, and that's what kind of makes it. Like in India and these other places, like people are meditating like all day, every day for years and years. Like it is actually more enjoyable in a sense, so that's why they get addicted to it. But it does come at a price, which is like obviously you're removed from the real world, but then also you can accidentally definitely be like totally gone. Yeah, like
Oh, you could be like, oops, transcended.
yeah.
Is there anything
Homeless now.
that you took from that you're able to apply to real life, or like any like benefits or skills?
Yeah, I think because of that, I realized like it's kind of, they say it as a concept like don't believe your own thoughts or whatever, but like that's when I started to really not put too much value in the temporary thoughts that I have, especially like with fitness. Like that really matters a lot, to not like get tricked by your own brain saying like, oh, I shouldn't bother to do this. So I think that was definitely the most practical thing, is like I don't take myself too seriously if I think those thoughts are leading me to an outcome that I didn't prefer to begin with.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, that's pretty deep.
You mean like being scared of paranoid thoughts or whatever?
Anything that's like doesn't
you're
actually
stressed out?
benefit you. It's like you're just like, you know what? I really like. I create this duality where I notice there's a side of myself that's a bitch, basically, and I want that side to just shut up.
Yeah.
And then I have like another side that's actually like empowered and happy and everything. And like there's no point in listening to like the fearful bitch side. Like that is kind of Tony Robbins at the end of the day. It's like it's just kind of debilitating you.
Because there's a lot of research that show that like people that are successful, they have the same thoughts as the people that aren't successful, but they've been able to condition themselves and create the reward system through behaviors that generate preferred outcomes. So like no one likes working out, right? Even an Olympian fucking hates working out. They don't want to go train or whatever, but they've been able to create through their own behaviors, their own dopamine reward system where like, okay, if I go run this 6 miles, even though I hate it just as much as the couch potato, but that outcome will reward me, so I'll keep doing it. And then those same things, they'll apply to like finance or investing or whatever. And it's like, but you being able to kind of do that with meditating, and you're trying to like push away the person that is giving you the bad thoughts with unpreferred outcomes.
Yeah, and I especially do it actually in my marriage, where like once you have kids, then it's like it's a totally different ballgame in terms of like every day, all the stuff that you're dealing with. It's not just like rainbows and sunshines and dumb arguments. Basically, it's more serious. So I think with that, I basically like realized like, okay, if my wife is unhappy with whatever, that means I'm actually slacking. Like I can't take it personally because she's dealing with the two kids. So I think that really helped a lot. Where most guys that I know that get married and have kids, they can't deal with that stress of their wife always like wondering why they're not. Yeah. But like now I'm just like okay, yeah, she's if she's annoyed at me, then I must be being a bitch. Like I need to stop being a bitch. And so like
You don't just tell her shut up.
That works.
no.
That works really good.
Sometimes it works.
I have the perfect wife, who's watching now. Yeah.
Is that your bitch side talking?
I want to do the flip side sometimes. I want the bitch to grow. Like, I want the guy that's like, you shouldn't do that. That's dangerous. You know what I mean? Like, I need the be a bitch. Yeah. I need the one that's like, ooh, are you thinking this one through, buddy? Like, do you really want to do that?
No. We need the
That
bitch
one
side to
doesn't
go
have
away so we can buy Sizzlers.
Yeah, because my mind will go, ooh, that's a great business right there. We need to fucking buy Sizzlers. We need to bring it back to life.
That's pretty cool.
When were you raised like Indian culture? Is that how you?
I was born in Bangladesh, yeah, but like
That's a different culture.
Oh my bad. Yeah.
It's not all the same.
It's a little bit different because you have like the Indian like cultural aspects, but it's a Muslim country, so you have this weird duality. But then I grew up in the U.S., so it's like with all East Asians, as like all the friends that I had in high school were Chinese, and so I had this like weird mix of everything. But like and then it was also weird because I grew up originally in New York in like a super poor part of Queens, and then we suddenly moved to Bellevue, which is really affluent. And it's not like we were rich, but we improved enough to get there. But like every aspect of my life, it was just like getting kind of a shocking dose of like many different cultures and many different like ways of living. But I don't think I was like happy though until until I met my wife.
Wow. Consistent.
When was that? Yeah.
How long ago did you meet your wife?
I met her on Tinder actually back in 2014 in like the good old days of Tinder. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, she was studying in Berkeley, and then I was working at Oracle up there, and then I started getting on Tinder, and then and we got in a relationship in 2016, and then we got married a couple years after.
That's dope that you found success on Tinder on the first match.
Yeah.
Oh, on the first, yes. My first date ever with a girl. Yeah, I never spoke to a girl until then.
See, we look out for each other here.
It's like swiping on the tree.
She's the only girl I swiped right on. Huh?
It's pretty sick, man.
So you finished
Manifesting.
You finished being the president of Jordan Belford's some of his companies. You went into Nirvana and came back.
And then out of nowhere, he starts working with Jake.
Yeah. After my Nirvana, I'm like, this is it.
I didn't know about slavery.
Where are you now, and what's next?
That's kind of a moving piece. I'm basically like now in this weird duality where I'm like trying to still stay in the behind the scenes game of like the billionaire or whatever, politicians. I want to know what's going on basically. But I'm not trying to make that like my main effort, but I still want to be in that environment just so I have some space. Yeah, just so I know what's going on in terms of like how the world works. And then separately now I'm trying to see like, okay, how do I translate all this stuff so it's actually useful to people who they're not really a part of my network already, which is why I'm posting these YouTube videos.
We should create the Upskirt Society.
Yeah.
That's a good name.
We reveal the truth.
Yeah.
The Upskirt Society.
And he has the finger banging.
Yeah.
Cornhole techniques.
Cornhole techniques is your first episode.
Finger bang your way through corruption.
Yeah.
That's great.
I like the slogans, dude.
Yeah. And you didn't even have to meditate to come up with that. It's pretty sick.
Yeah, very enlightened.
First draft.
This is a side tangent from finger bang, but it made me think of this.
Who started a sentence like that?
So like Taika, so my kid, he's 6, right? He goes to school and he learns these stupid like fucking playground pranks that probably someone else does to him. Yeah. But then I can, as an adult, you can see where it's going, so you can flip it on him immediately. Yeah. So that's like the funnest thing, because he'll go like this. He'll be like, "Hey, Papa." He's like, "This is a toilet. Lift up the toilet lid." He's like, "Stick a finger in there and clean the toilet." And then I would go like this, and I'm like, "You smelled it." And he's like, "Hey, you're not supposed to do that." But that finger banging fingers made me think of that.
What a gem, dude. What a gem. Dude, like, we don't get those stories very often, dude.
Comedy gold.
That's an original that we haven't heard in a while.
Flipping him on him.
Why don't you have an HBO special yet?
But I do picture him going to school now, and he's like, "Hey, do the toilet thing to me."
Oh.
What's one connected thread, not to take it away from pooping and finger bangs, of like understanding how the world works from your network, and then wanting to like provide some sort of positive and or beneficial thing to other people who are not a part of that network?
Yeah, I think the main thing to me is like, so in terms of like the how the world works thing, like the billionaires or the politicians and stuff, the truth is all these guys that I've met, they're pretty miserable across the board, and they're very miserable, paranoid. It's not like I've never really met like a particularly happy, guy. But it's weird that they create this public persona that's so like opposite. And then really what I'm trying to do is to like let people know like, hey, these guys aren't really like what you think they are. And by idolizing them, you're actually kind of debilitating your own lifestyle, because like
you feel like, why am I not a billionaire yet?
Like,
and it's like, do you want to be?
Yeah, that's one. And then also like, if you really knew what it takes, like how many crimes you have to commit to get there, you wouldn't think to do it. Like for example, like if a lot of people might know what it means to be a drug dealer, and you're like, you're not looking up to drug dealers being like, man, I really wish I could. You understand what it means basically to be a drug dealer. There's pros and cons. Yeah. Same thing with any of these like famous billionaires or famous people in general. Like if you really understood their day-to-day lifestyle, most people, it'd be very rare to find anyone that would be like, yeah, I want to have.
Yeah, it's funny to me when people go, man, why isn't there more CEOs and this and that? And I'm all like, why the fuck would you ever want to be a CEO? Like, do you know what has to happen? Like if at any Fortune 500 company, right? Very rare that you have one that's not on their 5th divorce. Yeah. That's like not working 100 hours plus a week and they never see their kids. And it's like, why would you want that?
I think it's like those people just prefer that problem than the one they have now.
Yeah.
In their dream scenario.
Yeah, that's pretty deep, yeah.
But yeah,
like it must be much better to have problems and have a private jet than fucking my Hyundai Elantra or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but like, it's even with private, like I flew private for a whole year. It's like at a certain point, it depends on the jet. This is a really important part. But besides that, like at a certain point, it's kind of like it's like ordering an Uber. Like you don't see any value in it anymore. Because it's just like
it adjusts.
Yeah, you adjust to it, and then in certain situations you do want to fly private, and in a lot of situations you don't. It just really depends on the jet.
How about the time you save though? Because of how long it takes to go through the airport, wait for your time, all that stuff. Whereas like when we fly, like we go straight on tarmac and go.
Well, it's not. I mean, somebody has to do a lot of coordination with even the private. It's not exactly like as simple as it sounds, but yeah, even at the end of the day, like it's like, okay, do you want to spend $50,000 on a flight from here to New York and a shitty plane without any good service? It's you don't usually even have Wi-Fi. Like it kind of sucks. Like it's not actually like for these long flights, I would never fly private.
I see.
Especially international, I would never ever fly private for that. But super short flights, like that's where you get the benefits of the convenience. Gotcha. But yeah, as soon as you get into like 4-hour plus flights, it's pretty.
You'd rather have a lay flat.
Yeah, yeah. Unless if you have like a Boeing 747, like you're not gonna have a good experience. It's actually a worse experience from what I've had. But yeah, going to your point, that I think that like at the end of the day, if you look at most celebrities, which are like the people where get to see their lives, like most of them are super depressed or they get into like weird issues and stuff, and they're not like.
I mean, we know people that are on a way bigger level than us, and they don't seem happy at all.
Yeah.
They just have, and they have a lot more things that they're juggling, like a lot more issues, I don't know. It's that's kind of the main point of why I'm like trying to make some videos on YouTube and go on Jake's channel and stuff like that.
So if I could simplify it, it's kind of like saying the grass isn't greener. So, and also these people are not really worth idolizing because you feel sorry for them. Almost.
Yeah, and also like you only have one life yourself. Like, why would you waste it, like thinking that, these people have it much better than you and stuff. But yeah,
that's an awesome message.
That's my positive message.
Nobody says that stuff enough. I like that. We need this in the world, baby.
Lift the toilet.
No!
Don't clean it! Don't clean it!
Actual shit comes out.